So Stephen, welcome to the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. We're in our wonderful library facility here, and thank you for joining us today. Given the situation we're in with COVID, it's hurting our economy. We need to plan a route out of that. Combined with that, we've got Brexit as well. That's an opportunity and a challenge for us as a nation. When you look at engineering and technology, does the government see engineering and technology as part of the solution to help the economy to get out of this crisis?
Absolutely. You're right, we are in unprecedented times. COVID has come from, well, apparently nowhere and taken us all by surprise. So I think there are two things. One, the solution to COVID itself will involve engineers at every level in terms of scaling up our testing capacity, building labs, potentially a new way of operating. So I see COVID or post-COVID also as an opportunity for engineering in the way that we change the way we work, the way we socialise, etc. But in the long term, the solution to our economic challenge definitely will involve engineering. And of course, Brexit, you're right, is both a challenge and an opportunity. Specifically to engineering, I think the automotive sector is one that potentially will be or could be affected if we don't come to some sort of arrangement with our European friends about the movement of parts in and out of the UK without potentially tariffing them. But I also hope that we can make the UK the centre where engineers from across Europe will want to come and base themselves and work as we look beyond just our European markets and we look to the rest of the world to expand and sell our engineering excellence. And we have a long and rich heritage of being leaders in innovation and engineering. And I think that Brexit just provides us with a greater opportunity to sell that to a wider audience.
With that in mind, what you just said there, I mean, it kind of leads to the next question, really, which we probably both know the answer to this, I guess, really. But have we got enough engineers in the country, and have we got enough engineers in the pipeline to support what you'd like to see the impact in our economy going forwards?
And the simple answer to that is no, we haven't. So back in 2018, I was very fortunate to be the government's envoy for the Year of Engineering. And the aims of the Year of Engineering were to explain what an engineer is, really, to a public, to young people, to parents, to teachers, to influencers, help them understand how rewarding an engineering career can be and encourage more people to come into the sector. It was also about improving diversity, and I think it's fair to say that engineering is probably not the most diverse of sectors. Unfortunately, there are not enough women who come into engineering, and that's not just about ticking boxes. We're missing out on a huge pool of talent.
Recognising that engineers are net contributors to the economy, and we haven't got enough. I mean, what's the government's view on perhaps trying to incentivise people to look at STEM, to look at perhaps the higher education side of it, moving into engineering?
Well, I think what the government's trying to do is to get people to focus on where the jobs of the future will be and what skills will be needed to fulfill those jobs. And so rather than focus specifically on engineering, and you are entirely right, I wouldn't argue with you for one moment that engineering is a huge contributor to our economy, worth, hundreds of billions of pounds, I think 486 billion, which is a huge amount. And yes, we need to make sure that continues, and we need to make sure we get engineers into that. But we also want life scientists and chemists and physicists who are also working across very diverse and important sectors. So I think what the government's aim is to ensure that there is a greater understanding of which skills will pay the best in the future and how you can make a contribution to the UK as well as being well rewarded yourself. And so I think that underlying the speech the Prime Minister made recently about the lifetime skills guarantee was a focus on the technical and skills agenda. And that's why engineering, I think, has moved back in to sit alongside some of those other skills.
So, Stephen, can you tell us what the government is doing to support apprentices?
I think there are two things we need to do with regards to apprenticeships in general and specifically to engineering. One is we need to do more to persuade advisors, parents, teachers that apprenticeships are as good, as rewarding and as valuable as going to university in the right circumstances. I fear at times that schools, potentially because they are measured upon this, direct young people towards university when actually an apprenticeship in engineering would be equally rewarding and probably better rewarded financially. So there's that aspect to it. Now the government, to encourage more people to take apprenticeships, is now offering, as a part of this skills package, employers up to £2,000 to take on a new apprentice. That's for 16 to 24-year-olds, 18 to 24-year-olds, I think. And then £1,500 if they take on an apprentice over the age of 25.
We are an institution of 120,000 members, literally worldwide, the vast majority of the UK. So, we're here as a resource for you. So my last question is, how can we help you?
The first thing we need to do is make sure that the institutions continue to work together to provide focus so that we are not doubling up and crossing over, so we're making the biggest possible contribution from the sector. I think to help us, we need to continue to promote engineering, and I would hope that although I am no longer the engineering envoy, I have a very keen interest in engineering and all things scientific within Parliament, that the sector would continue to see me as their go-to contact, if you like, to promote engineering and raise the concerns in the House. But I think the biggest thing we can do is to continue, and this has been a message that I've used for 3 years, is talk about engineering more, the contribution it makes to the economy and to society, and how it is engineers who have shaped the world in which we live. Everything we see and do and touch has an engineering aspect to it, and I don't think people necessarily understand that. And when people understand that the role of an engineer is what shapes the world around us, they're much more excited about it. I was really heartened after the end of the year of engineering that the number of young women, particularly, who were going into engineering had risen quite considerably from a very low base, I have to admit, but it was heading in the right direction, and the understanding from young people about what engineering was had improved.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, thank you very much. We really do look forward to working with you.
And thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.